What if there was no food in Minecraft? How horrible it would be not to be able to enjoy delicious food? Would Steve slowly starve to death? Well, for this, we will go to our interdimensional time machine. And wait a moment, a cookie first. Now, let's go! We have arrived, a universe where all the players cannot eat. And wait a minute, I am in a McDonald's? Well, it seems that yes. In this universe, all food producers have been absolutely prohibited. That means that they are not going to turn Commando into a hamburger. But as I said, the first thing that would happen is that if the player is in creative mode, nothing will happen. Because in creative mode you don't eat, but if you are in survival mode, everything would change. And the most noticeable thing is your hunger bar, because it has disappeared. That means that if the hunger bar no longer exists, many foods in the game will cease to exist. So forget about cutting down wood and trees giving you apples, because this would only give you sticks and seeds. But I want to check one thing. What about animals? Will the players of this universe continue to make animal pens? Well, obviously we couldn't get meat. We just couldn't eat them. Animals would still be useful though, just no longer seen as just food. Pigs would no longer drop meat, so pigs would only be considered a method of transportation. Cows would no longer to be able to give meat. This would disappear, but they would continue to be useful for the leather. To be honest, the important thing about a cow is the leather, not his meat. Without the leather, we couldn't make leather armor and also the books. But there is something totally sad that would happen with the cows of this universe. Although the cows can give us leather, they could no longer give us their milk. In this universe, we have not only eliminated hunger, we have also eliminated all kinds of food and drinks. Although it may not seem like it, milk is extremely important, because in case a witch annoys you, you would no longer be able to drink milk to remove the negative effects. After all, milk is a food. You wouldn't be able to remove the effect of the wither with milk either. Therefore, the abandoned mines would be a headache, because we wouldn't be able to remove the potion. But wait a minute, if the milk no longer exists, that means that the bottles of honey would not exist either? Well, they would exist to be able to craft honey blocks and make a mechanism. However, we could no longer drink this delicious thing, which also served to remove negative effects. But what about the sheep? Well, logically this will no longer be able to give us sheep meat, but they could drop wool. So we could continue getting a lot of decorative block. And above all, the most important thing, make beds to sleep. So, the usefulness of the sheep was also saved in this universe. But what about the chickens? Well, one of its main function is eggs. Well, chickens couldn't have eggs, because eggs are only good for creating cakes, and cakes are only good for eating. So an F in the chat for the chickens. However, they still have a great use. They could give us their feathers in order to craft the arrows. But what would happen to the rabbits? Rabbits are capable of giving us rabbit meat, and I think that many Minecraft players forget that with this meat, one of the most saturated Minecraft foods can be made, rabbit stew, being the second best food of the game. Well, forget about this food because it would not exist. At least, the rabbit's food can be used to create leaping potions. But a mob that would be completely unusable would be the cod, like the salmon. This would no longer have much use. Maybe the only way to maintain their usefulness would be to leave the mechanic of being able to feed the cats. What about the villagers? Will farmers exist? Will there be wheat? Well, wheat could exist, yes. We couldn't make bread, they would only be used to reproduce animals. Carrots would exist for pigs and also to create golden carrots, and thus night vision. And of course, it would also be a kind of exchange currency to get emeralds. But a crop that would cease to exist would be the delicious potatoes, because this crop is only good for eating. This thing does anything else. It is only for eating and has no crafting. The beetroots could no longer be eaten, but at least they are good for dye. With cocoa we could no longer make cookies, but at least they are good for brown dye. We could not eat watermelons anymore either, but at least we can make potions with these golden watermelons. But the poor potatoes are different. They exist only to make an excellent food source, and in this universe it would not be tolerated. And although potatoes also serve to get emeralds for the villagers, carrots would really do that job. It wouldn't make much sense to have two crops exactly the same. So far, this universe without food changes a lot of things about the animals, but thanks to the fact that the Mojang team has added other functions to the animals so that they are not only considered food, we can say that this universe is not really too bad. The world of Minecraft would not change so much, and we can also run infinitely and no longer have to worry about eating. For the first time in Minecraft, it would feel free, not stopping and eating all the time. We can swim all the time. We can build without any worries. We can even break blocks and there won't be any bars bothering us all the time. I love this life. There's a skeleton shooting me. Hey, that hurt me. Well, let's wait for my life to regenerate. Regenerate? Why doesn't my life regenerate? Oh, it's not true. Food is important. Now I won't be able to regenerate my heart. But wait a minute. That completely changed Minecraft. Are you telling me that if I take damage from a monster, I can never regenerate? I could literally die at any moment. Maybe I could regenerate life with golden apples? I don't think so, because previously I said that apples would no longer spawn from trees. That means that we could not craft golden apples, but these apples would be generated in some structures in the game. Otherwise, the structures would lose a lot of value. But if we cannot eat apples, what would they be used for? Well, to be able to cure some zombies, villagers, and thus get discounts. But all this didn't answer the initial question. How would we able to regenerate ourselves? Well, there would be only one way, and that is that in all the universes that we have been, this would be the universe where the potions would have the most value for the players. It would consist of quickly creating shelves of potions, and although we couldn't drink them because it is a drink, we could make throwing potions. We would literally have to have all our inventories full of healing potions. It would be the only way to be able to regenerate our lives during a fight. Healing potions would be the most valuable thing in this universe. Not even the diamond and the netherite would be compared to its value. Knowing all this, surely most players couldn't survive the first night, because before reaching the nether, you will surely have already received a lot of damage. Minecraft would become a completely nightmare for novice players. But what if I tell you that this Minecraft had already existed? That's right, originally the creator of Minecraft had programmed the game so that there was no hunger bar. Well, it turns out that if we go before beta 1.8, the player didn't have a food bar, and every time you hurt yourself, you couldn't regenerate. You necessarily had to get some food to be able to regenerate your heart. This universe would look like long before version 1.8, only with the difference that we would regenerate with potions. The most curious thing about all this is that, did you know that when the food bar arrived, many players complained? That's right, many prefer not to have a food bar and play as we have seen it a moment ago. It turns out that when the beta 1.8 arrived, they added the food bar for the first time. By then, a news like the food bar caused the community got too angry, making something as normal as the food bar, which we have today, at that time was the worst update of all. Well, keep in mind that the old players had completely changed the way they played. It's like if Mojang decided to add a thirst bar today. Wouldn't you feel uncomfortable? Well, the old players undoubtedly had a very bad time in those times. However, over the time we have ended up getting used to it, and I think it is something interesting to analyze today. No matter what happens, one ends up getting used to it no matter what it is. Isn't that crazy? So click left to see more What If. Surely there are episodes that you have not seen. And to the right you have a video suggested by the YouTube algorithm. Meanwhile, I got to eat a bridge to another universe.